Gayle King departing CBS Mornings as network faces internal turmoil. Report. Gayle King is allegedly scheduled to stand aside from her anchor post at CBS next year. The CBS Mornings host may transition to a different role with the network, although that has not yet been confirmed, sources told Variety Thursday evening. The startling revelation comes following a massive revamp under new CBS News editor-in-chief Bari Weiss, which has seen extensive cuts, the elimination of 2 streaming shows, around 100 layoffs, and much more. Some of those already let go from the network include 8 on-air correspondents and hosts. King's current contract with CBS is due to expire in May, the Post has reported, although a source familiar with the issue stressed that nothing is set in stone and King hasn't yet made any plans about her career after that time. Another insider said that King, 70, had extremely different politics from Weiss. However, it is still feasible that the CBS Mornings star remains with the network with a new arrangement to develop her own program, reported Variety. Norah O'Donnell, the former host of CBS Evening News, presently still works for the network as a senior reporter on multiple programs despite stepping down from her show back in January. There have been no negotiations with Gayle about her contract that goes through May 2026. A CBS spokesperson said following the surprising news of King's departure, "She's a truly valued part of CBS, and we look forward to engaging with her about the future." King first joined CBS News as a host in 2011, when the morning show was still called CBS This Morning. It was eventually relaunched to CBS Mornings in 2021, and King kept on as its principal anchor. She presently co-hosts the program alongside Nate Burleson and Tony Doe Kuppel. Still, concerns about how much time King had left with the network began back in May when sources argued that her salary, which is estimated to be around $10 million, was too excessive to justify her show's weak ratings. This could be Gayle's last year, a media source connected to the Tiffany Network told the Post at the time. Speculation over King's future at CBS ramped back up this week after Paramount formally disclosed the enormous layoffs and budget cuts that insiders have been warning about for weeks. This is just such an enormously difficult day for so many people who have given years of their lives to this company. Weiss, 41, allegedly remarked during a morning editorial call on Wednesday. "This really is a bloodbath," a CBS News staffer later adding that the cuts spread across the network's entire workforce. Other talents to fall victim to surprising CBS chopping block in recent months include late-night comedian Stephen Colbert, CBS Evening News co-host John Dickerson, and Saturday morning co-anchors Michelle Miller and Dana Jacobson. Gayle King's potential exit from CBS Mornings symbolizes far more than a personnel change at one of America's flagship news divisions. It reflects a moment of seismic transformation within the broadcast journalism landscape itself. What's happening at CBS is a concentrated example of how legacy media institutions are being forced to redefine their identities amid economic strain, leadership upheavals, ideological recalibration, and the irreversible fragmentation of their audiences. For CBS News, King's situation represents a collision of old and new eras. She has been, for over a decade, the face of CBS Mornings, and before that CBS This Morning, helping to steady the show during years when CBS fought to close the gap with its better-rated rivals, NBC's Today and ABC's Good Morning America. Gayle King's warm interviewing style, her personal credibility, and her reputation for empathy gave CBS a sense of stability and trustworthiness, 2 qualities that remain priceless in television journalism. Her 2019 interview with R. Kelly, for example, became a defining media moment and reminded the industry that she could command the attention of a global audience. However, legacy prestige no longer insulates even the most respected journalists from a new financial and strategic realities. The Paramount/Skydance merger placed CBS under leadership that values efficiency, technological adaptability, and measurable returns above sentiment or tradition. A $10 million annual salary once justified as a brand anchor may now be viewed through a harsher economic lens, particularly as the morning show lags in ratings and fails to attract younger demographics. When every department is being cut, even icons can become symbols of imbalance. The leadership of Bari Weiss further complicates the picture. Her arrival as editor-in-chief signals a decisive break from the previous management philosophy, Weiss is a journalistic vision rooted in heterodox, wide-spectrum reporting, an attempt to rebuild trust across ideological divides and counter-perceptions that CBS leans left. This cultural realignment is delicate. It involves recalibrating tone and talent, shedding parts of the brand identity that have alienated segments of the audience, and establishing a new editorial center of gravity. In that context, even a figure as popular and respected as Gayle King might find herself misaligned with a new direction, whether in style, tone, or cost profile. For King personally, this transition could become either a moment of contraction or reinvention. If she chooses to remain, possibly producing her own program, she can leverage her unmatched credibility to shape content on her own terms, a graceful evolution rather than a demotion. If she departs, she leaves with a record of accomplishment few morning anchors can rival. Her brand, associated with integrity, warmth, and high-stakes interviewing, still holds immense value across multiple platforms, from streaming to podcasting to long-form digital storytelling. Given her existing relationships in both journalism and entertainment, it is entirely plausible that she might pursue a hybrid career, combining production, hosting, and commentary. For CBS News, though, the risk is existential. The morning slot is not merely a show. It is a symbolic franchise that drives both revenue and reputation. Losing King could further destabilize a brand already strained by layoffs, shrinking budgets, and staff discontent. To recover, CBS will need to reimagine mornings not as a cheaper replica of its rivals, but as a forward-looking, digitally fluent product that retains the trustworthiness of its legacy, that requires careful casting, renewed investment in storytelling, and an authentic connection with viewers who feel alienated from corporate-driven change. Ultimately, this story captures a universal truth about modern media. Every anchor, no matter how iconic, must now be both a journalist and a brand strategist. Every network must balance ideology with economics, and every decision made in the boardroom echoes on social media, in newsrooms, and in living rooms across America. Gayle King's possible exit, therefore, is not just about one journalist or one show. It is about whether traditional television journalism can adapt to an age where audience trust is fractured, loyalty is fleeting, and even the most respected news figures must constantly prove their value in a marketplace that rewards novelty over legacy. If CBS and King can find common ground, one that honors her stature while aligning with the network's new priorities, this moment could be remembered as a successful reinvention rather than a painful,